Despite the latest season of My Hero Academia being slightly cut short from its usual number of episodes due to tight scheduling and how the movie You're Next was also premiering during the season's runtime, Season 7 might be one of the series' best seasons up to date. Yes, I am aware that some fans, especially those who read the manga, did have issues with the final war arc, but I think this season really did a good job of outdoing it from the source material. Honestly, there were so many incredible moments it's almost hard to choose, but I think I managed to pick the ones that are better among the rest. This is Anymanko 9000, a channel where we talk about content related to anime, manga, and other types of media. And in this video, I'll be going over the top 12 best moments in My Hero Academia Season 7. Also, if you want to hear more content related to anime, manga, and other types of media, I would appreciate if you can all subscribe to my channel and let me know what other topics related to the three I should talk about. Now, before I begin, I'd like to give an honorary mention of the My Hero Academia You're Next movie. Side note, if you guys haven't watched the movie yet, well then you are missing out because it is definitely something worthwhile to see. Though I don't know if the movie will still be in theaters by the time I post this video, I say go watch it before it's too late. Overall, I say that the latest film is better than the first and second movie, but slightly below or equal to that of the third one. Now, it's not because there wasn't enough action or the animation was lacking, but the villains themselves, other than Dark Might, don't feel as imposing compared to the villains from the third film, and the threat level wasn't as high than I thought. Of course, after what the students of Class 1A has been going through, dealing with Dark Might's elite soldiers didn't seem too hard for them, and it's really great to see how all the students have grown to be full-fledged heroes. I initially gave the movie a rating of 8.5 out of 10, but after thinking it over, I guess it deserves a 9 out of 10. The reason why it couldn't be higher is because I was kinda hoping to see Deku pull off another solo win against the movie's main villain, like he did in the third movie, World Heroes Mission, but seeing him call out all of All Might's ultimate moves was great, and the movie itself still turned out well and enjoyable to watch. Alright, let's get started on the list. Starting at number 12, Aoyama is revealed as the traitor. Probably the most unexpected plot twist within the series, when it was revealed that Aoyama was the mole for All For One, I think this betrayal left some fans speechless. After all, the reason why this shocking reveal worked so well and how no one saw it coming is that since his introduction within the series, Aoyama was always portrayed as the eccentric and goofy character among Class 1A. Though he does get his fair share of moments to shine like the other main cast, we never thought that later on that Aoyama would have such complexity in his character and how much suffering he must have gone through. Crazy thing is, his portrayal was kinda hinted throughout the story, but we somehow overlooked it. Yet it doesn't make it less heart-wrenching of what Aoyama was forced to do and lie to his friends. But at least he was able to redeem himself at the end as he joined the heroes and fight against All For One. Coming in at 11, the big three show why they are UA's top students. When we were first introduced to Mario, Nejire, and Tamaki, they were regarded as UA's strongest students, hence the name the big three. And they've definitely proven how strong they are during the Hasakai arc, as they've not only worked alongside other heroes, but also managed to beat multiple villains on their own. However, during the final fight against Shikari, this is where I think the three really show how strong they are as a group, as they managed to hold their own for an extended period of time thanks to their teamwork, and even get some good hits despite the enhanced villain being immensely more powerful than all three of them. Though they all got beaten at the end with Mirio being the only one left standing, their involvement allowed many of the heroes to survive and brought enough time for Deku to arrive and save them. Then, at number 10, Uraka finally reaches out to Toga. Okay, so I think I remember some people having issues with this part of the final war arc, even stating how Uraka's character journey kind of fell off. However, I think you all need to give her more credit for her selfless action in this fight. I mean, sure, it may not be as great as how she made that speech and stopped an angry mob from forcing a tired Deku to continue fighting villains before he killed himself from exhaustion, but her fight against Toga really saved a lot of heroes. And thanks to a much deserved quirk awakening, she was able to face and also help the mentally unstable Toga while also stopping a swarm of Twice clones. Though I still can't forgive what Toga has done throughout the series, I do sympathize with her struggle, and really she just needed proper help. So, before she caused further damage to herself and the other heroes, I'm glad that Uraka was the one to prevent it. It's just too bad that Toga's first and last act of goodwill was sacrificing her blood to save Uraka. It's tragic, but at least it wasn't in vain. Now at number 9, Soji stopping the Mutant army. So even though this is a bit low in the list, this actually might be one of my favorite moments in the arc. Mainly because we finally got more background on Soji aka Tentacool than ever before. Facing against an army of angry heteromorphs, Soji stands to confront them and try to convince them that what they are doing is wrong. After all, he's someone who went through the very same hardships that all heteromorphs faced, but understands that holding on to a grudge and retaliating isn't the right way. Plus, unlike Spinner, who now just became no more than a mindless monster, even worse, a puppet, Soji is a better representation of how heteromorphs can be treated in the future. Seriously, this character always feels so underrated, and showing his tragic past yet strong will to be a hero really solidifies that he deserves a bigger role in the story. In fact, I even made a video describing how his role should be expanded and how the whole heteromorphic discrimination can be built up, including his character to this point. Still, it's actually great to see him get a massive spotlight, and the way he stood up against Spinner and stopped the heteromorphs from going down a darker path was amazing. Number 8. Bakugo nearly overpowers Shikari. Personally speaking, I was never a Bakugo fan. In fact, I never liked his attitude at the beginning of this series. Nevertheless, he has gotten better since then, and it's satisfying to see him fight against Shikari alongside the other heroes. Sure, he was mostly being bested by the enhanced villain with his support item and ultimate move doing absolutely nothing against the latter. However, once he got him back up and his quirk somehow became more powerful, he manages to nearly overpower Shikari to the point where the villain himself starts to panic. This really shows how even though he doesn't have one for all, at least not anymore, he has a strong enough will to give any villain trouble. Too bad he couldn't do any lasting damage against the villain and was instead killed off. Well, sort of. He is in the middle of getting revived, but we have to wait till season 8 to see what happens next. Number 7. Gentle Criminal and Lady Nagat returns. Cornered and out of options, right at Deku's time of need, it wasn't other heroes that came to help him, but the unexpected arrival of former villains Gentle Criminal and Lady Nagat. Now, what's great about this moment is that it isn't just two fan-favorite characters returning after so long, but it also shows how villains can be redeemed. In fact, one of the biggest messages that fans tend to overlook in this series is that it tries to tell them how some villains are still human beings who are just lost in their way and need help. And while some villains continue to play the victim and think that villainy is the only way, in truth, they just have to realize their own faults, and the only thing that's stopping them to change for the better is themselves. Gentle Criminal and Lady Nagat are proof of how villains can change their ways if given another chance and the right amount of help. So while their path towards redemption is not easy, at least helping the one hero who helped them find the right path again is a great start. 6th place, the Todoroki family and Dobbys Rampage. While I will admit that Shoto vs Dobby was stunning and emotional, I think this moment is a lot better. Being the catalyst that led the Todoroki family to fall apart, the eldest son, Dobby, wasn't just Endeavor's problem anymore, it was the entire family's too. So, with all the tragedies that happened within his family finally leading up to this point, them coming together to put a stop to Dobby's mad revenge path was not only fixing their mistake of what happened to him as a child, but also in some way burying the past and finally moving on. Furthermore, the animation where Ida had to carry Shoto where his family is, and Shoto himself using the last bit of his power to prevent Dobby from exploding and succeed in saving his family was breathtaking. Also, if I'm being honest, I'm glad that Dobby now has to face the consequences for his actions. I know I'm being harsh here, but in my book, Toya had it rough, and he was already dead, but Dobby? Yeah, he had it coming. 5th place, Tokoyami causing All For One to feel fear. Just like Soji, Tokoyami is another character who I feel is a bit underrated. Though he does get a decent amount of screen time within the series, you would think we see more of him, especially it's been stated that his power could allow him to rival or even surpass the main trio. With that in mind, I'm also glad that he was able to get a big moment during the final war arc. Because just as All For One was starting to gain the advantage, Tokoyami created a kaiju-sized version of Dark Shadow, appearing behind the main villain and caused him to feel actual fear for the first time. And, had All For One not gotten younger and more powerful, Tokoyami could have defeated him as the villain was unable to defend against the attack. 4th place, just a shy away from top 3, Endeavor incinerates All For One. Endeavor may not have been on the same level as All Might even in the latter's weakened state, but this fight shows why he is not a hero to be underestimated. Sure, Endeavor needed the assistance of Hawks, Jiro, and Tokoyami to allow him to get a good hit in and give All For One a run for his money, but the fact that the current number 1 hero was able to make All For One unable to fight back against him despite losing an arm shows why he is a top tier hero. Moreover, at the very climax of the fight, Endeavor was able to do something that no other heroes besides All Might was able to do, and that's defeating All For One as we see him being burned to a crisp by the Flame Hero, which was satisfying. Too bad the victory didn't last long, but it was still a great fight. Moving up to the top 3, third place goes to Star and Stripes' Sacrifice. Starting the season off with a bang, it begins where America's #1 hero, Star and Stripe, confronts Shikari. And in this fight, we were introduced what might be the most broken quirk in the series, New Order, where she can literally create a giant-sized version of herself made of air, hold on to lasers and use them as tangible weapons, and use nuclear missiles to create a literal explosive punch. My only problem with this fight, besides the fact that it was a way to show how strong Shikari has become, is that Star and Stripe was killed off way too soon, giving her what might be the most shortest appearance out of any character. Seriously, her role in the story couldn't be expanded a bit further? She could have at least meet up with Deku, which I know was what All For One wanted to prevent, but it would have been fun to see the two form some sort of senior, junior, or even a brother-sister relationship, especially since they both admire the same hero. But she did leave a lasting impact against the villain by destroying all the quirks inside All For One, weakening the villain and giving the heroes a chance for a counter. So if anything else, Star and Stripe, your sacrifice was not in vain. Number 2, Deku reveals his true power. For the longest time, Deku has always been looked down by fans as a hero. Yeah, he didn't exactly make a good impression at the start of the series, but he has grown so much since then. And this fight is a testament to it, because upon arriving and saving the remaining heroes, Deku not only unleashed all the previous One For All users' quirks so far, but also activated a new one, Gear Shift, allowing him to overwhelm the enhanced villain and pretty much became the most overpowered hero in the series. What's more, as the You Say Run music starts playing, I couldn't help but start cheering for the young hero to finally put the villain down. Just kinda wish they didn't leave us hanging till season 8 to finish the fight, but the more time spent, the better the fight will become. And finally, number 1, All Might rejoins the fight. No quirk, pretty much skin and bones, and supposedly retired, All Might's return to battle might probably be the greatest comeback in the series. After all, we haven't seen him fight since season 3, so to see him step in as he puts on the armored suit to once again face his greatest enemy while the boss music starts playing, let me just say it was beautifully well done. Additionally, thanks to some inspiration from his successor Deku of how one can fight without a quirk, this was not a hero ready to die, but one ready to throw hands and win, and it was really satisfying to see Armored All Might to play mind games against All For One and giving the series main villain a well-deserved beating. Kinda also wish that this fight didn't just end midway with a cliffhanger, and it really feels like a crime how we never got an arc focusing on All Might's origins as a hero. Regardless, the rematch was done right, showcasing why All Might is the #1 hero for a reason. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with this list, and what is your favorite moment of My Hero Academia Season 7. Also, if you want to hear more content like this, just don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.